K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we're expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at advertise@k98talk.org. The leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
Intergalactic planetary, intergalactic.
Welcome to the podcast.
No, not at all.
Are you serious? I do? Gosh,
Yes.
That's awesome.
This is already terrible.
What do you mean?
So,
I've only been living in the South for, since... Does it really technically count if you've been living in the South and you started in Florida? I don't know if Florida really counts. Oh, I lost you. Where are you? Your voice is very small and far away.
I don't know. Where did he go?
Good job, Bill.
Yeah.
This podcast is already 100%.
you guys hear me now?
Okay. Yes, Verizon guy.
Okay, great. Good. So for those who can't tell, beyond the technical difficulties, there is obviously somebody else new doing the podcast because Leslie
is not here anymore. Anyway, so hi, I'm Inoni Wept.
Yeah, this is some person that I found on the internet.
Yeah, that's what we do nowadays. We find people on the internet and we talk to them.
Yeah, so Oni is a person that used to come on the Super Mexican podcast, which I used to be a co-host on many moons ago. And when Leslie left, she was the first person I thought of.
Hey, Bill, your mic is like not in good shape. How could we talk for like 45 minutes and have no problems, and then now your mic's gone crazy? This is not good, dude. I don't want to have to do this podcast by myself. That's just like my normal day-to-day talking to myself.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, for some reason it sounds like you're like in like a completely other room now, Bill.
Oh, at least I have Rick. Yay. So, Rick, do you play World of Warcraft? Because I do, and it's awesome.
I actually used to. I don't anymore.
What did you play?
Hey. When I was involved in it, it was right after the second expansion, I think, and I actually rolled a journal.
Okay, how's that work?
Hey, we're talking about WoW, so you just hold on.
Okay, we're not talking about WoW.
Well,
quit
leaving
we'll get
the
back
room.
to this, Rick, because this is important to me.
Quit leaving the room, and we don't have to talk about other stuff, you know.
I don't know what's going on. I should probably just buy a new headset, I think.
I know you were going to the kitchen to grab a beer and didn't want anybody to know, but I mean, come on now.
Okay, so anyway, so this is supposed to be a podcast of sorts, I think.
Yay.
Man, this is sinking quickly. God.
Wait, it's
okay,
Tuesday,
so there was a major terror attack in France. 128 people died. Over 300 people were injured. One of them was an American.
Oh yeah, who was the American?
It was a college student from the University of California.
Oh wow.
I don't have her name offhand.
It wasn't Geraldo's daughter, obviously.
Yeah, and it wasn't Charlie Sheen either.
Oh my gosh.
But
you're terrible.
Too soon.
But too soon. But yeah, so there was a massive terror attack. There were, the plan was for them to get into the soccer stadium, detonate 2 of the bombs inside the soccer stadium, and then there was going to be a third man outside waiting with guns, and he was going to shoot people and blow himself up. And it was, the goal was to, kill as many people as possible. And it didn't really go as planned because apparently the security check that they have at the gates to the stadium noticed that this guy was wearing a suicide belt because, a guy, Arab guy with a filthy looking beard, with a giant leather belt strapped around his chest with a bunch of dynamite hanging off of it doesn't really doesn't raise any alarms.
What? I missed the whole. I hit a button and I had some wacky window pull up on my screen. Sorry. I missed that. What? There was a guy that had a vest, and the security guards stopped him, but he still got into they still pulled off this huge attack?
Well, they had planned to get 2 men into the stadium, detonate the bombs, and then there was supposed to be people outside waiting to ambush the survivors and shoot them.
Oh my God.
And what happened is the plan went bad because when they arrived, they were like a half hour or an hour late to the stadium. And so the security was a little bit more stringent maybe because they weren't just rushing to get people into the stadium. So they were able to take their time, I guess, and they must have patted this dude down and they realized that he had a suicide vest on.
Holy crap.
And that was pretty much it. They realized he had the belt on and he detonated it pretty much right there.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so it could have been a lot worse.
I mean, it's obviously awful.
Yeah, it could have been worse is something that is sort of a recurring theme of this whole thing. There's a lot of things that could have went better for the terrorists that didn't. So the body count was not as high as they had probably anticipated or they had hoped for, but
holy crap. I had no idea.
Yeah, well, this was extremely well coordinated. All of this was, of course, planned. Apparently, all of these people were French. They were French nationals, as you would say. They were Arab Muslims, but they were, of French origin. And 3 of them were brothers.
What is this like with the Boston bomber and them being brothers? What is the deal there?
Well, they have large families. Muslims have large families. They have very large families.
So they think that they're disposable just because, well, 5 or 6, there's like 8 of us, so 2 of us can die for Allah. It doesn't make sense to me.
3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead. No, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me either.
Well, I mean, I guess if it made sense to me, then,
If it made sense, it probably wouldn't be terrorism. And that's the thing, like, the French people are just, like, sitting there, let's just sort of get this out of the way. I'll say the sorry, not sorry thing right now. French people are just sort of like people who don't know how to PvP in World of Warcraft, or people who don't know how to...
Hey, that's me.
Or people who have no clue how to play like Black Ops 3. And they just basically run around waiting for somebody to kill them. And that's French society in a nutshell. I mean, they're a race of people conditioned to be somebody else's pets.
I don't know. I thought that they just expected that people would just, do their own thing, just like they do their own thing. And they're proud of being who they are. Why shouldn't other people just, accept them for who they are?
Well, that's sort of the thing, right? Who they are lazy, arrogant jerks. They have the
Hey, I have French in my ancestry. Take that back.
So does most people. That's why we live here and not there. Although I will make the distinction that French Canadians are much worse than real French people. This is something that I learned only in the last 10 or 15 years.
Is that like, probably Matt Dawson probably would know the answer to this because he's from Louisiana. But my brother-in-law, they're Cajun, and they're like Acadian French.
That's different.
Okay, so you're not lumping them in the same...
No.
Okay.
No. I'm just talking about French people from France and French Canadians. French Canadians are by far the worst of them all.
So that would be what? Quebec?
Quebec, yeah. The Quebecois. They are just absolutely horrible.
So what can we do about this situation other than change our abbeys to French flags?
Kill the terrorists.
How are we supposed to do that, though? I mean, we don't know really. It's not like they're a state, like, on a map and we can just blow it
They
up.
are a state on the map now.
Oh, but I was told that they're not.
Well, the reason that they're not a state on the map, and it's an interesting, maybe Kevin Williamson actually from NRO was the guy who said this. Maybe it was Jonah Goldberg. Somebody said that maybe the reason that Obama is reluctant to call them a state is because any act of aggression that they commit would then have to be retaliated, would have to be met with retaliation.
Oh, yeah.
Because as a state, like an actual factual place where people live and work and whatever, they would then be subject to international laws, and any attacks they would commit against NATO members would then have to be met with retaliation by NATO.
Okay, not to disagree with people who are obviously way smarter than I am, but I don't think that that's his problem, because Bush wasn't going to, I don't think he called, it a state of, whatever to attack either. I mean, he wanted to go and start in Iraq and make a more, democratic area, so that these other nations would like glom onto that as like some type of hope in that region. In fact, it's kind of like a hope and change there.
Well,
I feel
no,
dirty just saying it.
the thing is that with Iraq, you have an actual country now. The first thing was actually Afghanistan, and the reason for entering Afghanistan was not to fight Al Qaeda. It was to fight the Taliban, which had then given safe haven and lent the physical borders of the state that they controlled to terrorism. They had harbored terrorism, and that was the justification for Afghanistan. It was not that we were actually going to war with Al Qaeda, a rogue nation, if you will. It was the idea that we were going to attack a sovereign nation that had lent the protection of its borders
Right.
to a terrorist group.
Right. So then we should have just, bombed the crap out of it.
Well, and so, we did.
Well, apparently not very well. We're still over there.
Rats and other vermin have ways of going underground.
Especially in that area.
Yeah. So...
And, it's not like it's, Germany, where, they had a small area to build up in cities and had railway between cities and whatnot that you could disrupt. There's nothing really to disrupt, is there?
No, oh, by the way, Kevin Williamson retweeted the podcast. That's funny.
Oh, it is.
Cool. You're his biggest fan, so.
I love him.
I know. I know.
I think I say that like every day. People have got to be sick of me.
I've heard it many times. I'm quite fond of him. I find him striking, but I don't love him.
Well, you ought to read all of his books, and if you don't read them, you should at least buy them.
I've read Charles Cook's book, which is great, though.
Oh, I haven't read that yet.
Oh, it's terrific.
I read like the first couple pages because I had somebody had a copy of the whatever the I can't think of the word, but it's like a pre-pressing type of thing, and you only get like a couple of the pages of the whole book. So I read that little bit.
So two Air France planes on the way from LAX in Washington D.C. to France have just been diverted because of a bomb threat.
What? Are you kidding?
Hmm? This is going to continue. This is going to go on forever now.
So why is that? Because they're getting attention, as Sally Kohn, or however you say her name.
No. These anonymous bomb threats are totally hoaxes. They're all just they're hoaxes.
Well, apparently
because
that
they
one at the football match was not a hoax. They found an actual bomb in the stadium that was going to
they didn't. Or so they're saying they didn't, by the way.
Really?
Yes, there is for people who are listening who don't know, earlier today there was a soccer stadium in Germany that was evacuated. The German police told a German news source called Bild, B-I-L-D, that ambulance full of
that's what it was.
explosive devices was parked outside the stadium, and that was what prompted the evacuation.
So it wasn't full of explosive devices?
I don't know, because the Germans are now walking it back, saying that it was a mistake. Now, how on earth, as a police officer who's trained presumably to spot the difference between syringes and detonators and stuff like that, how you make that mistake is a question that I would love to have answered, hopefully in the next 72 hours. Because that's just really wild. But they evacuated another soccer stadium just about 5 hours ago now. As well, there are two of them in Germany that were evacuated. There was a concert playing at a soccer stadium in Germany, and then there was another one where there was an actual soccer match happening, and both of the stadiums were evacuated. The second stadium that was evacuated, the German Minister of the Interior told police departments in Germany to advise people not to travel in large groups in the country in public spaces.
What?
Yeah. So even though these were both, according to them, totally hoax, don't travel in large groups. Don't have. They're telling people not to have large outdoor public events. They're telling people not to have, not to congregate in large groups, not to have outdoor events. What's next? Should they stop breathing? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's almost Christmas.
Yeah.
You tell people they can't go out and shop at malls.
That's not going to happen.
Well, it might. I don't know. But the question is, if these two things were hoaxes, then what's the scare then? Why are people so desperately afraid? Migrants. What? Okay, so going back to the Paris thing though, because we're getting way off track.
No.
Paris thing is really interesting because after the Charlie Hebdo thing, we
want to talk about Charlie Sheen at some point, right?
Yeah, we'll get to Charlie Sheen.
Okay, sorry.
So after the Charlie Hebdo thing, you would have thought, or at least maybe I would, and probably your hero Kevin Williamson would have thought, I would think, and he would agree with me if he were here, is that after watching a video of a French policeman laying on the ground begging for his life because he doesn't have a gun to shoot somebody with, and getting his brains blown out all over a sidewalk for the world to see, you would have thought that maybe the French would learn their lesson. That, maybe these people are serious. Maybe there's something wrong with these people.
Well, I mean, obviously, they're terrorists.
Well, they mean business, though, is what I'm saying. And so you would think that...
But what are they going to do? I mean, their culture is not to have armed police, apparently. So what, do they just change it overnight and send them to mass,
Well, they have they have had a year to refine this process. A year is
Sufficient time.
Yeah, I think Stephen Miller said on Twitter like a couple of days ago, this year began with Charlie Hebdo and it ends with the Paris attacks.
So what is it about?
When are they going to learn?
But what is it about France that's particularly? Is it the only country there that? I mean, what is unique to France? Because doesn't the UK they don't have weapons either, right?
Well, they do, but the UK is a paternalistic, semi-fascist security state where citizens and criminals are monitored on CCTV virtually all day.
And France doesn't have the CCTV?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have anything. France is a very lax country. Very, very lax. And like I said, they are a race of people who for the last 100 years have essentially been bred to be other people's pets. They live and die at the will of other people. I mean, have you ever... I like to tell this joke all the time, that I'm selling an antique French rifle, antique French World War II rifle on eBay. It's never been fired, and it's only been dropped once out of frustration. So, behind every stereotype is something of some sort of truth. The French essentially allowed the Germans to invade and conquer them because they were afraid that the Germans would bomb the city and destroy it. Which, when you really think about that, they were more concerned about the appearance and the vanity of their city than they were about their own personal freedom. They would rather surrender to a dictator than let their homes burn down and have to rebuild them. That's kind of demented in a certain sort of way, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. It's sort of what they teach you in a robbery situation. Just give the robber the money.
Well, yes. But in this case, the robber moves into your house and tells you what to do for the next 3 years.
And I am in agreement. You know that's what's coming, and you're, I'd rather make my stand.
Well, and that's how I think most people are. Even the British with their "hey, you can bomb us, we're still here" kind of thing. I mean, even the British eventually didn't give up. Although God knows they would have probably had we stopped funding their war. So what I'm saying is that.
So what you're saying is we're spending way too much time talking about these French people who don't deserve our attention when we really should be paying attention to the students of Missouri.
Good segue.
I love that word so much. But anyway, we're really, taking attention from these kids who really, really need us in Missouri.
Isn't that just the greatest story ever?
I mean, that life is so hard. I have to go away and live away from my parents who put the bill for this college so I can have basically free rent and meals. And I get to learn everything that I would want to learn, but really what I'm doing is smoking weed and drinking. And I'm out until all hours of the night. I mean, we're talking about these kids in Missouri.
We're not talking about what you do on Saturday.
Right.
Okay, so before we go to a break, I want to read some of these tweets because I know what you're talking about because I laughed my ass off at this story for a really long time.
We have a break?
Yeah, there'll be one in a couple of minutes.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So here's one from I Love This Nigger. I'm not even kidding. That's the Twitter name.
You chose it just because you wanted to say that.
No, that's really what... Well, actually, I didn't write this story. So, no.
Who wrote this story?
Someone on Weasel Zippers, who is not me. I didn't... I swear I did not.
Plausible deniability.
Yeah, I really did not write this story. It's actually just the first tweet in the thing.
You couldn't have skipped that one.
I had to read this one because it's actually the funniest one.
All right, go ahead. But don't you can skip over that part of the name. Just read us the tweet.
Not taking away from Paris, but we love you. But we have a terrorist in the USA called the KKK. Government got work to do, fam.
What
I
does
don't
it even
know.
mean?
I don't know. I don't know what any of that means. Okay, here's another one. From Darlene Diona. Okay, so see, there's a real name here.
Oh, no.
Remember that name. She might come up on a job application someday. Not to take away from Paris at all, but just how they're getting news and the world's support. We deserve it, too, in Missouri.
Wow, here, we're giving it to you.
Yeah, I'm dramatically reading these tweets. Now, here's one from Alazia Justine. I guess that's her name. I don't... Whatever. Now people are desensitizing. She spelled I give her props for using the word desensitizing, but she spelled it wrong. So, I 1 point because she knows what the word is, and 10 because she spelled the word totally wrong. It actually says sanitizing. I know what she means because she spelled sanitizing wrong too, but actually that's minus 20 points. She spelled 2 words wrong. Anyway, now people are desensitizing Black Lives Matter and Mizzou for what's happening in Paris. Why have you no common decency? First off, why you have no? Okay. Desensitizing Black Lives Matter and Mizzou for what's happening in Paris. I don't think that's how that word works.
Sometimes I think that you tweet faster than you can really process it. Sort of like how I talk.
Okay. This is the level of quality we can go from now on.
Hey, I haven't started wowing yet, so...
Okay, so here's the last one before the break. Interesting how the news reports are covering Paris terrorist attack, but said nothing about the terrorist attack at Mizzou.
Oh my God.
Emoji, frowny face, and frog. You put a frowny face a dead-looking frowny face next to a frog emoji.
Oh, is it sipping some tea?
Yes, actually.
Of course.
I didn't know. How did you know that?
Because the frog is always with the tea.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's some meme about Kermit the Frog sipping.
Oh, I get it. I thought it was a French thing.
Oh, maybe it's that too.
Is it frogs? Okay. Anyway, we'll be back.
You'll have to explain that to me after the break.
I will.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry, or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
This is JD.
And this is Stacy.
Join us Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, for Game On. Remember,
lock up the children and the old folks.
Game On, the home of Liberservative Conservative.
Where no one is safe, no one is spared, not even the hosts.
Oh, that was supposed to be a spin cycle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We love you anyway. Right round, baby.
Self-monitoring
right
Ebola radio strikes again.
Anyway.
Anybody see the host monkey?
Today.
Where's the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? For God's sake, I need an antidote. Just do your rant and let's pop out of the segment.
Has to do with
Find us on Twitter at JD and Stacy.
You're listening to K98Talk.com.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
And we're back, and I just realized that I'm not following Kevin Williamson on Twitter. That's
you
weird.
moron.
I know. That's weird.
Yeah,
I thought
is
I was.
How did you know? How did you know he had retweeted your tweet?
Oh, it just shows up in my notifications column. Anyway.
I
just
advertised for Kevin Williamson. Yay!
Oh, my life is now complete. If only Charles Cook would talk to me.
It's never going to happen.
I know. I can hope.
Man crush.
It's okay. So,
are we going to talk about?
Okay, so let's talk about Charlie Sheen because I know you're like really excited to talk about this.
Not really, but I wanted to ask you about the before we skip over the Mizzou or Mizzou or whatever they're called.
It really doesn't matter. They don't know how to pronounce it, so why should you?
Not to be desanitized to their situation, but didn't you have some column in mind about the South Park episode that was relevant? Like just the week before, I think Stephen Miller had Red Steez on Twitter had written a column about the PC episode of South Park. Of course, every episode of South Park is PC annihilation.
Well, this entire season of South Park has been dedicated to fighting back against political correctness. And
really, it's the whole season. I haven't watched it since the end of season 1. So
you should totally watch this season. It's great. They have a new principal in the school. His name is PC Principal, and it's all about. There's all this shit about trigger warnings and
sensitivity classes.
Yeah, sensitivity classes and trigger warnings and social justice warriors, and there's
safe spaces.
Safe spaces, all this stuff. They did a whole episode about safe spaces. So
and with true musicality, I'm sure.
They did it. Well, yeah. I guess you've obviously seen the tweet.
Which is so funny because so many guys love that show, and it's just like a musical, but with animation.
It is, and what I want
kills me.
What I thought was so great about the South Park episode, and it's something that I mentioned, I think maybe an episode or two ago, which obviously you haven't listened to, is I think that South Park is one of the greatest tools that we have right now to fight against this kind of crap. It really is, and I think it's sort of an unlikely friend in this whole thing. Although South Park's always been pretty, South Park's always pulled no punches, from anti-smoking hystericals to, environmentalism to electric cars. South Park has always been kind of on the fringe of this stuff, but it used to be, I think, that the aim for South Park towards about season 3 or 4, the goal of the show changed to sort of just basically breaking balls of people who just take themselves way too seriously and believe in all this stupid crap. I mean, they dedicate.
And I don't think they even know why they believe in the crap that they believe in. It's just blind devotion.
Well, and that South Park addressed that with the Al Gore episode. You know?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I've seen that one.
Yeah, the man bear pig. And so
it was awful.
I totally cereal. I don't believe me.
It's so awful. I don't need to ever watch it again.
No, but it's so true. And they do such a terrific job.
Do you think it's because they're comics? And because comics really don't have limitations, or they shouldn't have limitations, that they're able to say things that would normally get them annihilated?
Well, no, I was just about to talk about that. What I think is that I think that in the beginning, I think they wanted to do it very, very, very subtly. And they wanted to sort of offer up both sides of each, nonsensical leftist argument, but they wanted to do it in such a way that it looked like both sides were represented equally.
Right.
And I think with this season, they've just basically said, you know what, screw this. Gloves are coming off. This is just stupid now. And I'm telling you, you have to watch. If you watch anything, you have to watch the first episode of this season, and you have to watch the one about safe spaces, because it just such a great show, just such a great show. And one of the things that Stephen Miller talked about in his story on NRO was that, if you agree with people like PC Principal on the show, you're part of the problem in society. You are the problem. It's not everybody else. It's you. Because we live in a free and open society, and everybody else is really just kind of is really choking the life out of everybody else. All this PC crap is. I think it's bad when people like Jerry Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld is quite left. If you don't already know that, he's quite left, and he even says, "Look, I won't do colleges anymore. They're just too politically correct. They boo me. They heckle me. People write a kid wrote a story on Huffington Post. Did you read that? Like maybe 5 or 6 months ago, about how he was this 22-year-old kid who was a diversity expert at some school.
Oh God.
Wrote this open letter to Jerry Seinfeld telling him how he can write better comedy by being inclusive. And Seinfeld's response was, "What are you kidding me?"
Well,
have you ever seen,
20-year-olds kind of think that they know everything already.
And that's what Jerry Seinfeld said.
So
these kids, they think they know everything.
So, I mean, the only difference now is that what we've created, or people who created these children who went to college, now is not only do they feel entitled because they went to college, but that's on top of the fact that you're of an age where you think you know everything already. I mean, there are people on Twitter that just drive me up a wall. They weren't around for last election cycle. So it's like that's an excuse for not knowing how something that happened in the Bush-Gore election is relevant. What? So politics just started when Obama was elected? I don't think so. But that's the mentality that we've basically coddled and raised. So, I mean, I guess that's sort of a digression. And it's not. I mean, it knows no class or economic, I guess, barrier either, because people who go to college who have no money but take out loans or have the same warped mentality as people from wealth and prestige that go to these same colleges and are cookie cuttered out social justice warriors. So
yeah, and who's at the front leading all of this crap? Bernie Sanders. And what does Bernie Sanders know? Nothing. That's the problem.
Did you see that episode of Red Eye where they had they had a video of when Bernie Sanders was doing like Man on the Street cable access show type of stuff? It's hilarious.
No, I never saw that.
Oh my God, you got to go watch it. He had had his son as it was like his son was his like indentured servant, basically having to hold the mic while he walked around town and commented on stuff. It was terrible.
Oh God.
Sorry.
No, I don't want to.
Another digression.
No. This is actually really great because I have to say it's really weird. That Larry David is so acutely able to play Bernie Sanders. Because when they ask Larry David how he does it, he goes, "I just pretend to be an old whiny Jew."
Oh my God.
and that's exactly what Bernie Sanders sounds like roaming around on the street. What's with all these people with the cars? What do they have to have cars for? Why can't they have horses?
Oh my gosh. Hey, which reminds me, do I really sound Southern?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh my God. That's so awesome.
I love Bernie Sanders' accent. I like doing Bernie Sanders. I should do the nightmare. I should do the Night Before Christmas poem about Bernie Sanders. That's pretty great. Maybe next week.
Maybe not on the air.
Maybe closer to Christmas.
Speaking of upcoming holidays and Christmas, have you ever seen the movie The Hogfather?
No.
It's based on
Sanders in that?
No.
Thank God.
It's based on a Terry Pratchett story set of novels called Based in Discworld, if you know anything about that.
No.
Oh, it's so good. Basically, it's a sort of other plane world with a sort of Santa-like story, but the guy's name is not Santa; it's the Hogfather, and he goes around and somebody tries to kill the Hogfather, and it's not good. Anyway, that should be on your Christmas movie watch list. And
usually it's Die Hard.
Well, yes, of course, that goes without saying.
I want to say this once and for all: Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Obviously.
Well, you know what? See, you say that, and I say that, and Jay Caruso.
I don't know. How can you be of any other opinion?
I don't know. Rick, do you think Die Hard is a Christmas movie?
Yeah, it actually aired during Christmas time, if I remember correctly.
And it's
okay.
He goes to visit her at Christmas.
I mean, that's the whole premise. They're visiting people at Christmas. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, there you go. But no, so what I wanted to say about Bernie Sanders was he's so absolutely, and this is so
for segue.
is so absolutely and so thoroughly uneducated on anything. And it's really kind of fascinating that he has actually lived to be as old as he is and has learned absolutely nothing about how money works.
Well, that's not shocking. He's a liberal.
But
okay. He's never actually been challenged, or he would never actually think about somebody who challenged him on his ideas that wasn't like him. So,
okay, well, here's one that I would point out. He's always saying that he can't understand why college loans have such high interest rates, and why they're so high and everything. Do you know the reason? Do you know the reason why college loans are different than any other kind of loan?
Wow. I'm just gonna go off. Don't say anything. Don't make fun of me, but this was my thought when I went to school. I'm taking out these loans because I can pay them off at whatever time, or I might not. I will still have my education.
You know what? You're right and you're wrong at the same time.
But at the same time, I know that I'm going to have to pay them off because I learned this after I graduated. When I worked for my first real attorneys in downtown. I was going to say what city, but no. I actually worked in bankruptcy law, and you can't declare those as part of your bankruptcy.
Do you know why?
You're just not allowed to do that. You said you were going to pay it to the government, and
there's a very specific financial fiduciary reason that you can't.
All right, enlighten me.
They're not secured with collateral.
Well, obviously.
No, it's not obvious. See, that's the thing. Bernie Sanders.
It's obvious to me.
That.
Hey, can I interject something? If you're going to talk about Bernie, you have to call him by my nickname. It's Jim Ignatowski from Taxi. Just saying.
Okay, I'm not doing that.
I have no idea what you said.
That was a really great TV show. The reason that college loans are so messed up and why they will forever be that way is because they're not secured with any collateral.
Which is what I'm saying when...
There's nothing for them to repossess. If you default on the loan, what are they going to repossess? They can't repossess your education, so you're absolutely right. You're going to get the education either way, whether you pay it back or not.
Right, exactly. I'm going to get this diploma, and it's going to sit on... Well, actually, it doesn't sit anywhere but in a closet. I don't even have it framed because, whatever.
Because why?
Exactly.
But Bernie Sanders doesn't realize that, and he stands up.
How can you not realize that?
He sits up on the podium and he goes, "I don't understand why these loans are so high." Because they're not secured with any collateral, you boner face.
He realizes it.
They can't take anything from you. They can't take it back.
It doesn't serve his monologue if he acknowledges why they're as high as they are.
Exactly.
He understands it. Trust me. He's not that stupid.
But it is possible he might be.
No.
But now absent of that, he tells this to kids and they repeat it and they don't understand it, and they for damn sure don't understand it. I had a kid tell me a couple of months ago when I was walking past a protest in the city, and they were complaining about student loan debt and da-da-da-da-da, and the kid says, oh, well, the interest rate is, I don't know, 11, let's say 11%. And I said, yeah. I said, well, you know why it's 11%, right? And he goes, because of the banks. And oh, you stupid moron. It's because there's no collateral. When you take out a loan to buy your car, they just repossess the car. When you take out a mortgage on your house and you don't pay it, they take your house. What are they going to do? Take your education? I mean, obviously you never received one, but, you know, if you had, they wouldn't be able to repossess it from you because what the hell are they going to repossess?
Oh my God!
They
I
could
just
come and
logged
take
into
your
WoW,
brain,
and it's
but
the
it's more
11th
like a
anniversary, and I got an exquisite costume set, Edwin Van Cleef, and it's purple.
Wow, that's great.
Oh, it's so cool.
That's just the greatest thing ever, but not really.
Oh my gosh! And when you click on it, it says none may challenge the Brotherhood. He looks awesome. I gotta look at my dragons.
This is the level of quality that you can expect now.
I think you have
I'm very sorry.
I think you officially lost her attention. She's clicked wow. She's like,
No, that's probably where she's been for the last 4 hours.
What? No, I had to like vacuum and do laundry.
While you were still logged in.
No, I wasn't logged in.
All right, sure you weren't.
It really turns you into Van Cleef. I love it.
Oh Lord.
It has like the.
Well,
the
Angie has competition for worst podcast for next year. That's for goddamn sure.
Oh my gosh, it's got a bandana and everything. Oh, so cool. Full regalia.
I have to say, I did manage to get her to go 55 minutes without doing this, so that's good.
What?
actually, not really, because remember when we were having the technical issue, she and I were talking about WoW, and you interrupted, so I was a little hurt my feelings.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were going to tell me what class and race you were. Don't tell me you were Horde.
Oh no, I was Alliance.
Yes.
When I haven't played in forever, but when I did play, I was a Durnai Shaman.
Oh. I can't do shaman. They're like very difficult with the throwing of the totems down. They only last like 30 seconds. It's so yeah.
I'm a guy. I'm used to the 30
seconds.
melee,
or were you a healer?
I was a healer. Hey, I'm a guy. I'm used to the only lasting 30 seconds thing. You're saying.
Oh boy. Oh dear.
Oh jeez.
This has gone someplace bad, and well, there's only 3 minutes left, so that's good. So, to people who are listening, and probably just Tim. If you don't have Star Wars Battlefront already, why not? Go get it. I'll wait.
What's that? Is that a game?
You're blocked. It's the greatest Star Wars game ever made.
Don't tell anyone. I don't know it.
No, see, I
actually only have time to play WoW, and I don't even play it anymore.
I prefer Old Republic, but that's just me.
No, this is like AT-AT walkers and TIE fighters. This is great.
I still prefer Old Republic.
You should play this first.
It's like WoW with lightsabers.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, I tried to get her into SWTOR. She didn't like it.
No, I just...
She's not really a Star Wars fan.
Not really a Star Wars or a Star Trek or any of that stuff. Like, this is my limit of geek right here, is my World of Warcraft. I'm limited, but I know, like, a lot of stuff about
I'm sorry,
that.
you lost me at not a Star Wars or a Star Trek fan. I can no longer talk to you for the rest of the show.
You know.
There's only 3
There's only 3 minutes left.
So tell everybody where they can find you, Oni.
Anoni Wept. It's OENONEWEPT on Twitter. That's it. Nowhere else. Yeah. Don't find me.
Hey, you can't say that.
Don't
That's
find me either. No stalkers, please. No stalkers, please.
No one's gonna stalk me.
Well, I did try that one time, but...
No, you didn't.
I did, but that's a story for another day, possibly next Halloween.
Rick, are you on Twitter?
Yes, at @double_R_OKC.
Awesome. I need to follow you, I think. You're just a block. Oh, or block you.
Yeah, that too. I've been blocked before.
Oh, boy.
Haven't we? All, especially Mr. Bill over there.
Well, good night, everybody.
Good night. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, you'll be back next week.
Yeah, maybe.
Yep.
Did you hear my cats?
Nope. Thank God.
Because I put them in another room because they like to talk when I'm talking.
They think that you're talking to them.
Yeah, it's true.
Oni's cats, yeah. She's a cat lady. So
I'm a cat lady. It is true.
Good night, everybody. Take us out, Rick.
The light bulb's getting dim. 'Cause meltdown